lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking about my absolute favorite, no pun intended, favorite book that came out this week. Absolute Batman #1, Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. The launch of the new Absolute line at DC Comics. I can't wait to talk about this with you guys. But before I get into it, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out some of the awesome content on the channel. There's interviews, reviews, all sorts of good stuff on there. And we do new books, old books, indie books, all that good stuff. So hit that subscribe button, and now let's get into Absolute Batman #1. I said it when I talked about the DC All-In Special, how excited I was for this line. I said I had already read Absolute Batman and how much I loved it. I read it again, so I've read this twice already. Love seeing the DC logo back. The bullet, that's my favorite logo in comics. And now, reading it a second time, I loved it even more. So this is not going to be, everybody knows already this is a new universe. People are saying it's kind of like DC's Ultimate Universe. They're comparing it to that. I would say it's even better because while the Ultimate Universe started everything from a more modern sense, this is completely reimagining the heroes that we knew before, right? You can see this from this ad for Absolute Wonder Woman. No Island, no Amazon's Absolute Fury. She's been raised in hell. This Batman is a Batman with no wealth and a little bit of an altered origin story. We open up, we're at the Gotham Zoo, and young Bruce is being called by none other than his dad. You don't know it's his dad yet, but you'll find that out. And he's plenty of time for bats later. So kind of a funny little call, what Bruce Wayne will become eventually. Then you come up to this double page, a gun in silhouette amongst a blue sky, and it's a very jarring image because you can almost imagine kind of like what this is going to signify, what this symbolizes, but you flip and it's not exactly what you think you're about to see. So we come back and now we're in the present day of Gotham City. We see this mysterious guy on a motorcycle. He's running through town. He's narrating, saying it's been a long time since he's been here. He's been gone for a while. Something's changed. Talking about my third lap around, I still can't find it. Where's your heart? You used to have a center, hot and beating, but something's hollowed you out. And he's talking about the city of Gotham. And, we see this news report, a crime wave of this party, animal gang slaughtering 9 in a brutal attack. And then, we get to the next page and he talks about not recognizing it anymore and takes the helmet off, and we see it's not who you might have thought. It's Alfred. And so he even says he's here to do some bad things. And we're going to see, he's going into this building that's right next door to this grocery store, which he says he stays here because it's the best tea in Gotham. We see that he's using his eye it's obviously high-tech security just to get into this room, weapons everywhere, and it's a little bit of, basically it's a safe house. And we see that he's making his tea, setting his gun down, and we see one picture of him, and what you'll realize is his daughter Julia. He's reaching out to her. He gets the message, he gets the voicemail telling her he's in town, he'd love to see her, and no response. And even being disappointed, fuck, she knows you too well. She's not going to answer your call. So now he gets on the secure line. We have no idea who he's talking to, but he's obviously a hired mercenary assassin. He's been sent to Gotham for something. He was pulled off of a mission of some guy he's been chasing for what he's about to say 5. Eventually we're going to see it's been 5 years he's been chasing this guy. A very long time, but he's getting called back by this mysterious boss of his, do some surveillance on this party animal gang, but they don't want him to engage, but they're also letting him know that there's another player in town, and we see obviously it's going to be Batman, and they say don't engage him. You're only there to do surveillance. We're going to send you the coordinates. Savor the tea, signing off. He's obviously been in this game for a long time. And he even saying in the inner dialogue of him talking about why is he questioning orders? He's a servant. Call back to him being Alfred the butler in the regular DC continuity. And he's they ring, you serve. Doesn't matter where they go. You just are there to serve them, even if it means going back to Gotham. Comes out, his bike is gone. I love this page by Dragotta. Scott Snyder is, this might be my favorite Scott Snyder book in a long time, and that's not to say I haven't loved some of the creator own stuff he's been doing. It's been great, but like seeing him come back to Batman and then seeing him come back to Batman in this fashion, a completely new take. And I got a chance to talk to Scott Snyder at San Diego this past summer, and the level of excitement in his voice as he was describing this book to me was, I mean, it got me hyped before I was even able to read it, and it didn't disappoint. And Nick Dragotta is turning in some of the best work of his career. I love East of West that he did with Jonathan Hickman, but this is on another level. And you're seeing Alfred, he hates this town, he knows that this is what it's about. And then we come into Croc's gym, and we see this guy, he's at the punching bag, no fear, no weakness, tonight you are and you think, what you think is about to happen isn't what it is. Because some guy comes up, says, I think it's my turn, and this isn't Bruce Wayne, this is Bruce Wayne. So we don't know who this guy is, but he's like, oh, sorry, I was just keeping it warm for you, got a big day tonight, got to get in the right headspace. I'm thinking maybe this could be Dick Grayson. I'm not sure. But this is a Bruce that's like very brooding. Like his eyes are all blacked out. I love that. And he goes to town on this punching bag. And people that are in the gym are like, oh, holy crap. Like the boom. And like the sound effects are really showing, and it's interspersed between this like flashback sequence where we see he's at the zoo. He's talking with his dad. This is where we see he's like, I'm just messing with you, Mr. Wayne. And he doesn't even call him dad, right? And then he says, are you excited for the movie tonight? Kind of a callback again to his origin. He's like, yeah, I know. You and mom met at it. I get it. But why do I? And as he's about to say, like, why do I have to go? We hear a gunshot. And his dad is, taken aback. And then we come back to the present. And we see that Bruce is like, so he's thinking about this all while he's hitting this punching bag. All this bottled up anger, frustration that he's been dealing with for years. He shatters the bag, and then we see this guy with a snake draped around him. He's got a crocodile in his hands. It's Wayland, aka Killer Croc, but he's not Killer Croc in the Absolute universe. And so as he's talking about it, he's friends with Bruce Wayne. He even tells it like, you're gonna have to pay for that. And he's like, my time is costly these days. He's like, I'm thinking of calling it Wayland's Scales of Gotham. Ozzy hooked me up with this exotic pet license. Do you want in with me too? And Ozzy being, Penguin, he talks about like he's going to get busted. And Wayland tells Bruce like, man, he's like a penguin, man. They know how to hide their eggs. And plus he's our boy. So then we see like, and then there's a poker game mentioned with Eddie, Harvey, Oz, Selena. And then we come all the way back down here. And, they have a little interaction talking about, like, this party animal gang. Are you going to come to City Town Hall tonight? What they're doing to people in these streets is, like, it's fucked up, right? And we see this photograph of them as kids. So Bruce Wayne grew up these children. And I'm assuming that they grew up maybe in a, you think it might be foster care. Not really sure, but they're definitely young. They've been friends for their whole lives, which is pretty crazy to see. It's definitely a new twist. And then we come up to this massive yacht on the Gotham Harbor, and we see like, these three people having this meal. This is this new version of Black Mask, which super creepy looking. And he's sitting down with, a couple mob guys. We see this girl that comes out. She's wearing some like weird helmet too. We see this almost like a mutant person, like tentacles coming out of their head. We see another one coming out of the water. When are you all coming to dance? Mr. Maroni, Mr. Falcone, what do you say? Shall we? The night is young, he says. And now they're talking about how, like, they've been in business here for 150 years. Speaking of the mob and the mafia and, like, what Roman, a.k.a. Black Mask, has been doing. Like, you're killing old ladies, kids. Like, you're bringing a lot of heat, and it's brutal. You know what I mean? And you need to respect the past. Basically, they tell him to get the hell out of town. So this girl comes in, hey, show them the masks. So now he starts showing them the masks of these people. We see Socrates, Martin Luther, George Washington, and then he shows them some new ones. Hey, Mr. Maroney, here's your brother. And then, so he sees Sal Maroni's right there. And then he's like, hey, he's your cousin, Mr. Falcone. Now he's going to kill them. He's going to add them to his collection. So he's basically taken out the mob. And this is a completely we're getting people off the board that still exist in the DC universe in terms of the Gotham mob and mafia, and they're just getting taken off the board right off top. Issue 1 of Absolute Batman. Then we see more people being murdered, and we see Bruce donning his cowl, standing on the edge of a building. I love this too. It's a sunset, so he's coming out right at as night's about to fall. There's, Mayor Jim Gordon is holding an emergency town hall meeting, and we see Batman jumping off into the sky, and we join the town hall meeting that Waylon was talking about with Bruce. Everybody's questioning Gordon, like they gave him the benefit of the doubt when they elected him mayor, but, under Mayor Hill, at least we weren't getting killed off. So people are questioning what's going on. We got Waylon, talking about, Hamilton Hill was a crook, and we all know that. Yeah, but at least he was tough. So Gordon in this world is now the mayor. He's cleaning up the town that way. We see Alfred. He's surveilling the scene. We see the party animal guys are right at the site, and they come in guns blazing. Even a little cameo by Detective Bullock. And then these guys in the black masks, crew, but they're wearing like ape skulls, not human skulls. They just start going to town. Gordon gets shot. We see his daughter, Barbara. We all know where she eventually ends up, but she's a cop in this world. And now we see the door slam. Everybody's trapped in there. And Barbara comes face to face with Batman. Whatever you hear, you don't open this door. Something's going down, and we see right here up here in the shadow, they're like, oh, it's up there, sure, and they start bullets flying, right? And he's wrapped up exactly like a bat is when they're sleeping. He throws a pellet down, and we see this brooding tank of a man jump down. Beautiful page. One more thing I want to shout out. I love that they didn't put any ads in this book. We just got the comic book. I love when they do that. I hate when ads break up. Sometimes they serve the purpose of, like, when you do the page turn, it helps, with that, reveal, but I love that it's like this. The choreography is amazing. He's systematically taking everyone down. His cape is different. It's got like these like tentacles, kind of like a bat's wings, and just systematically taking these guys down. And again, Alfred's just there gathering data. He's talking about, how whoever you are, you've got flair. I'll give you that. Let's see what you can really do. So he's watching him take him down. He's basically systematically breaking him down the way he is. Like he talks about his fighting styles, how he trains, how fast he is, steady, focused. We got Batman taking out his bat ears and throwing them as batarangs, and it stabs, and he talks about how brutal he is, but precise. A leg stomped so everyone hears the crack. An arm snapped over your knee. You're sending a message, you're enjoying it too. And the knife work, my lord, so bloody, yet you miss each artery by just enough. No fatalities at all, not one. So an idealist. Bloody hell, Alfred says. And so this guy comes at him with an axe. He's like, get the fuck out of our way. And Bruce grabs this metal rod, this handle, attaches it to his symbol on his chest. It becomes an axe. Now we get this dude coming at him with an axe, which I love this too. And he chops the dude's hand off. And he's like, yeah, I hear they can reattach them sometimes. There's a hospital 3 blocks south of here. Or is it east? I don't know. I can't seem to remember all of a sudden, but I'd run. And he gives them a chance to basically get the hell out of there, out of his way. And the power here, the way the spikes just shoot off. Of course, they take off. They're not about to deal with Batman. They're completely intimidated by him. And he's like, so Alfred's like, oh, well done. But if you're a true technician, you'd have set up a trap for those. And of course he did. He blows up the stairs, takes those guys down. Alfred's boss, his the people that hired him, they're asking what's going on down there, and he doesn't even let any of this information go. And so he follows him, and he sees what who Batman is. He finds out he's Bruce Wayne. He tracks him. He's like, oh, okay. So now we see he's 24 years old. Mom's a social worker. Dad's a teacher. You grow up in crime alley, high friends, low places, tight group. Talking about how he was in 5th grade. He won an engineering competition, creating a mobile collapsible bridge. So we're seeing how smart Bruce was even back then, and he used the design. It was based on the anatomy of a bat wing. And the prize trophy was the trip to the zoo. And that's where this all starts. And we see there's a shooter at the zoo. Thomas Wayne gets all the kids, takes them to this bat enclosure, again tying it into the bat. Why did he take the symbol of the bat and become Batman? And he tells Bruce, don't open this door no matter what you hear. And then we hear the gunshots. This is where Bruce loses his dad. And this time, he goes down a different path. He loses himself for a while. He lashes out at the world. And then he finds something to inspire him. It says he straightens out. He goes to school. He gets a scholarship to university. and he gets injured his first week. He even says, like, well, most people can come back from that, but why didn't he? Why he could have gone pro, but he was saving his body for last night, for all this, whatever it is you've built. You studied mechanics, chemistry, criminal psychology, military theory, socio-cultural history, everything to prepare. And then you come home and you study the city, whether it's, in the water department, sanitation, city hall. So he gets all these odds and end jobs to study the city so that he knows it like the back of his hand. And then we get something really crazy. We flip and we see Bruce's mom is still alive. Alfred even talks about maybe he should shoot him, take care of him now, but he doesn't. He's like, you're just a kid. And he tracks Bruce to one of these abandoned buildings that it's never been finished. And this is where his headquarters is. We get a fight between Bruce and Alfred. He goes to shoot him, but it's not bullets. It's these little tiny batterings. And he steals Alfred's bike, and then we get this beautiful double page of him flying out with his wings, gliding out on the motorcycle. But that's not even the craziest thing. As we get the epilogue, we find out who Alfred has been hunting for the past 5 years. He tracked him while he studied with Henry Descartes in France, and then this guy killed him. He trained with the League of Assassins, killed them. That's the history of Bruce in the DC universe. That's where he trained, right? In this world, it's this guy that doesn't laugh at anything ever, and that's why they call him the Joker. And that's how we end this new version of the Joker. We've got a brand new universe of DC characters. The Absolute universe is fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. This is probably, at this point, one of my top 3 books of the year. What a great way to kick it off. Don't miss out on this book. It's such a great book for fans of Batman. And if you're not a fan of Batman, this is so different than any Batman we've ever got before. So go pick it up, hit your local comic shop up, add it to your pull, add the whole Absolute line to your pull. I guarantee you they're all going to be awesome. And while you're at it, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.